Let me show you guys how to install the lower triple clamp bearing on your dirt bike without spending $60 on the specialty tool. This steering stem bearing kit is actually from All Balls Racing if you guys want to check them out. To install a bearing for the lower triple clamp, you need a specialty tool that costs about $60. We're going to attempt to do it without that specialty tool, so let's try this out. We're going to need the inner part of the old bearing that used to be right there, as well as a flathead and a hammer. We got this bigger one in case the little one doesn't work out. We also obviously need some grease to grease up that lower triple clamp bearing. First, let's put everything to the side and actually grease this bearing. It is very important that this bearing gets greased. It comes pre-greased, but there's definitely not enough in there, so let's add some more. We're just going to put a good old glob in our hand and just start packing it down like this. We want to get grease in the cage and around these needles right here. Definitely don't want to be shy on that grease right there. Honestly, the more grease is the better. You just want to smash this grease into the bearing though while spinning these needles. Like I said, we cannot be shy on the grease here. As you guys can see, there's a bunch of grease inside of the bearing. There's not grease just on the outside. When you're doing this, you really want to make sure you pack it into the bearing. So now we're actually going to take our lower seal and actually slide it right over our steering stem. And then we can follow it up with the steering stem bearing we just packed. As you can tell, it gets stuck about right here, so we're going to have to hit it on the rest of the way. Usually when you remove this bearing right here, you're going to get the inside of the bearing, just because 90% of the time you have to break the outside cage off. We're going to take that old part of the bearing, flip it upside down, and then slide it on the steering stem. That way it actually catches the inside of the bearing that's going on, and not the cage on the outside. If we push down on the cage on the outside, we're going to mess up that bearing. So now we're actually going to take a flathead and we're going to hit all around on this, and hopefully the bearing will want to go into place. So I've moved into the garage and I'm trying this vise method instead. So basically the vise is grabbing this that we put on right there, but the steering stem is still loose in the vise. So that way if we hit the top of it, it should drive the bearing up. I'm pretty sure I got the bearing fully on there now. There is a little gap under it, so I don't know if I completely have it on. So you guys need to let me know because I still need to do my research. I don't know if that gap is supposed to be there, but let's just pretend it is and let's continue. Obviously, we got that old bearing stuck on there, so we actually have to hit that off now. Just like that, it's off. Now, I don't know if that's fully on there or not, so I'm going to end the video here, post it, see what you guys say, and do my research, and then I'll get back to you guys later. If it is fully on there, that means we could put our triple clamp on our frame. We can go ahead and do the upper seal as well as the upper bearing. I'm also going to go ahead and email All Balls Racing. They usually take a minute to respond, and it is the weekend though, so I'm going to try to find my answer elsewhere. Special thanks to them once again for providing us this bearing kit.